UAFX just brought out 3 new pedals, and guess what? They are awesome! Hey everyone, my name is Kris.
And my name is Guillaume. Hope you're all doing super good today. We are
super duper even.
Super duper good. Extra duper good. Mega, as they call it. Here,
Mega.
Somewhere. Today's awesome. Today is...
He's excited.
We've had these pedals for too long now, too long for comfort, and we've been waiting. We've been waiting to film these videos because today is a new release day for UAFX. They're bringing out 3 new pedals in their lineup. Those do slightly different things. They're aimed at different people, different price point as well, and we're going to go over what each of those pedals do. Which
some will be brand new, and one, to be specific, one will be a greatest hit.
It's the best stuff. It's the best stuff.
So we are obviously and clearly really excited about these, because we love the original pedals. They're just great. So let's get into the first one. Let's start with the comp. Because why not?
Yeah.
That is the Max Compressor, which has 2 compressors built in. Basically, it's the same layout as always, so you have stereo in and out, you have the connectivity with the USB-C, the Bluetooth, with the app. We'll talk about the app later. But what's cool about this is that it's literally 2 compressors built into one enclosure, and you can choose 3 different compressor types. You have the 1176, obviously, because it's a UA thing. Then the LA2A, which is such a studio legend, and for especially for guitar players who like squashy tones, the Dynacomp sound or compression type is also in there. So 3 different compressor types per side, so you can actually double like 2 Dynacomps in series or parallel or flip-flop between them.
The 2,
So many things built in, and yet so simple to tweak. Like if you have the pedal in front of you, everything makes sense. You have the 6 knobs, you have the MIDI toggles and the 2 foot switches. That's it. It's pretty standard as a layout, I would say. Still, you have so much control over everything, and you can go for simple, not noticeable compressor sounds, which is definitely something that we want to show, and go for like
full
a
squishy.
like a crazy Dynacomp, or you can stack like studio quality compressors, like the LA2A going into an 1176, or the other way around, or 2 1176s, whatever you want. You know, if you're a bass player and want to go line, but want to have like a nice preamp and everything, which is also built in. This is their proprietary 610 preamp built in with the red knob. It's just so much for...
It's all the compression you need and more.
It handles it all, so it's much more than just a guitar pedal.
Let's give some sounds and then go into like how to dial it in real quick.
I'll go for maybe an 1176 on a mild setting. Guillaume's going to be doing the heavy lifting, and then I will probably just stack it with a second layer.
Oh, you do you, buddy. You do you. I'm going to play the same thing.
Everything on the overhead cam. So
also.
No.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the D20, the Rev D20 going into the Harley Benton cab that has Creamback 75 speaker.
Yeah.
So this was like a crazy compression, like twice a pretty high ratio and compression setting. So this is something that goes from you don't even notice it until you turn it off, because then it just feels weaker. That kind of studio compression that you will use on every single recording ever. Like, if you don't do that, you get lost in a mix. It just doesn't feel enough lively, etc. So it does that, but if you stack it, you can get some obvious, really thick, pumpy sounds as well.
Absolutely. So just to make it simple, this is just the preamp knob. It only controls the preamp. Then we've got all 5 grey knobs that control both compressors. If you want to dial in compressor 1, you stay up there. If you want to dial in compressor 2, you go into that mode. And then obviously on each side, all 3 compressors, knowing that this toggle will remember your settings. So if you dial in compressor number 2 and you go back to 1, it'll remember your dial for compressor number 2. On top of that, and I shall start now some screen recording goodness. Can you turn it on? Because obviously this is going to be the beta, but we want to show you guys what the app is going to look like. And with the Max, notably, so you have a choice of using the compressors in serial, in parallel, or exclusive, which is a flip-flop mode. So right now like it's in that,
So that means that you can have 2 very different compressor settings
and
just choose whichever. You don't have to turn off and then turn this on. It just goes back and forth. So that's cool too.
You also have access to compressor settings within the app itself, so you can dial in the preamp by choosing a low EQ and a high EQ, as well as a sidechain bass filter for the 1176. So that means that the compressor is not going to affect the bass.
The low end. Like if you're a bass player, that makes a lot of sense.
And obviously, you have access to that for both sides of the compressor, and that's about it for this guy. Now, let's go on to pedal number 2, which is your little crush.
Can I have the cable?
Yes, you can. You shall have the cable. Here's
does it still have my settings? I think it does.
I think it should have your settings, yeah.
Because I had a little go on this earlier, and I have a pretty good setting here. Still going?
I believe.
I think we're fine.
I believe.
Galaxy 74 tape echo and reverb. Holy moly! Like, come on, right?
Mamma mia. Yeah.
Yeah,
Explain.
Let's talk about the details and everything, but like this long trail is something that I wanted to start with because you can hear clearly the way the pitch modulates, and if you close your eyes, it's literally like the engine, the motor that drives the tape.
Yeah.
That's slightly,
It's an old engine. All right. Explain to the people what it is and what it's how is it controlled? How did you get to that lovely?
It's everything at 12 o'clock.
Everything at 12.
So it is a Roland Space Echo emulation, and it's a damn fine one, if not the best I've ever heard. It does the reverb and the delay, obviously, as it should. And you have controls over everything that you want when we're talking about a tape delay. So you have, of course, delay speed, feedback, mix, and also the age of the tape, which you can access with the secondary feature of the lower row of knobs. You have input volume, which is like the preamp gain with which you can sort of beefen up the repeats or make them super clear and a bit more like in the background, go in the background. And you have control over the reverb, which is a proper big tank reverb emulation, which is something that the Space Echo always had, those versions that are so beloved. And you have a bit more control over it because you also have dwell, not only volume, bass, and treble for the reverb. And that's something that they sort of put in as an extra, which is something that, like the dwell was not on the original famous RE201, which is the most famous unit. I think that was only a feature, like you had more control over reverb in the later versions, like the last editions, which was like a 500, RE555, whatever, the later versions. They felt like, hey, that's a nice feature to put in, so why not? They had enough knobs for that. It's a multi-head delay on top of that reverb, which is sweet, of course. It has 3 heads, and you can choose the shortest delay time, which is head 1, medium delay time, head 2, or the 3, which is the longest, and you can mix them as you wish. 1 with 2, 1 with 3, 2 with 3, or 1, 2, and 3 together, like, or just one of them if you want a simple repeat. So killer. And the app, you have the app around. With that, you can change a few things. For example, you can turn the trails on and off, which is nice. The same thing. It is literally what I showed you. Let me turn the feedback a bit down. Now the pedal is on.
And I turned on the trails.
Trails are on, which means that if I play this chord and then turn the pedal off, it will still have the effect, sort of feedback. Which is a nice feature, of course. One thing is important about this, especially if you're running a wet-dry setup or you just do not want your normal guitar tone, the dry tone, to be AD converted, like digitalized. It's an analog drive-through. So that's something that I really, really appreciate about it. Why I'm saying is with the wet-dry, if you're having the short latency coming from the analog digital conversion, you will have probably phase issues. So if you have it off and then you turn on a digital pedal,
it's gonna flip something.
That's gonna slightly change the phase relation between the dry amp and the wet amp, which is not ideal. So that is killer. In case you wanna use this just in the one side, on the wet side of your rig.
Absolutely.
So killer. Let me play a bit more conservative tape setting.
Yeah, you dial that in.
And
while I just wanted to mention what's left in the app for that one, because you can also swap the foot switch mode from right now is effect on one side and performance on the other. That means you have access to tap and hold, which are two really awesome functions that you can select within the app as well and choose between different echo rate ramps. Either crescendo or decrescendo, and but you can also use the foot switches as just delay on off and reverb on off.
Yeah, in that case you don't have a tap tempo, but if you don't use it anyhow, you have control over both effects and can use them separately, which is cool.
I put it back into effect and performance, and I'll let you perform now.
Yes, I'll try to give you a sort of older tape, but simple repeats, delay sound with a bit less mad feedback and some reverb on top. So let's see how that goes. Also, turn the Pantheon on because
sounds pretty.
Because it sounds pretty.
flutter, man. The modulation on the
Yeah, it's so
delicious.
delicious is the right word. Yeah.
Absolutely tasty.
Okay. Yeah, loving it. Cool. Let's move on.
Yeah, as usual, you don't buy, and that's, I think, a fairly personal opinion, but you shouldn't buy a pedal for what it promises in the future. Buy it for what it does now.
Yeah.
And those
Good point.
stand alone. You don't need anything. But it's good to keep in mind that UAFX have been really good at updating those pedals, making sure they were, kept fresh, whether it's in terms of, and we'll get to that with some different sound options that you might have internally through the app, but also through different functions that you can have access to in the future. So right now, this is what the app does. You've seen it, you've heard the pedal, but keep in mind that in the future, there's nothing keeping them from giving the foot switches different functions.
Yes.
One of them can do this and turn everything on, the other one can do that. They've done it in the past, they might do it in the future. So any function that you have in mind right now that's not necessarily within the pedal, that could be a thing.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
just wanted to put that out there.
We had a call with the guys from UA, and they told that they're thinking of other foot switching options, which is definitely cool. For example, with the Verb, which is coming up right now, and the Galaxy, if you had the option of just having the reverb on all the time and then use the switches for like delay on and off and tap tempo, that would be something I would love seeing. So that might actually happen. But as Guillaume told, don't get something because someone said that maybe something will happen.
It will be updated.
Yeah.
Just, you should get the Verb because of that.
Oh, yeah.
First off, it's blue. The knobs are brown. It sounds like this. And that's just once.
Instant want.
Yeah, that pedal is everything I was expecting since the release of the Golden and Starlight, because this is the love child of these two pedals. So you have one side that does delay, that's controlled by all 5 of these knobs for obvious name reasons. You guys can read, right? And
it's pretty far though.
And you have options to select within the modes that Starlight was already offering, which is a tape echo, a Memory Man inspired analog delay, as well as a precision delay, which is a digital, very faithful, very accurate delay. And on the other side of the pedal, you've got the reverb, which is controlled by the single reverb knob, as well as the toggle switch that's going to do what the Golden was offering, which is spring, plate, and whole, lexicon-ish, very beautiful reverbs. The Golden set itself as to be the best spring reverb, digital spring reverb emulation that we've ever played. It's been on your board since.
Yeah.
The Starlight is one of my absolute favorite tape delay pedals, and I was just, I knew it was coming. There was something in me.
Really?
There was a calling. There was a calling that knew, like, these are too good to not make a baby. And they've made a baby. And that's the Verb, and it's incredible. This one has a few more features already available in the app, if the app does app things. Wait, I'll start the screen recording now, just to be extra efficient. But essentially, this one gives you an option of organizing the foot switches either as they are out of the box, which is delay on one side, and wait, I'll put it back. Yeah, there we go. Delay on one side to turn on and off, and reverb on the other to turn it on and off, as well as a effects tap tempo mode, which turns on delay reverb on one side and gives the tap tempo on the other. And again, as we were saying before, down the line, there's nothing keeping from having the reverb always on, and then the left one doing just delay and tap tempo on the right, for example, if you're that kind of player. Disconnected.
Hi. Please. I'm that kind of player.
Let me try and go back into
So that would be an option, of course. What's really nice about the Delverb is that is the mixture of the Starlight and the Golden, a really great delay and reverb, but it's not confusing to use it. Like if you have it in front of you, you have 3 different delay sounds you can choose from. You have 3 different reverb sounds, and all the knobs do what they say. But if, let's say, you want a longer reverb, like longer trails or a different dwell or whatever, you want to change something about the delay sounds, that's what you can do with the app. So this pedal has the most intense app feature set, really. Yeah,
it's got about 100, well, I got for the beta, again, may vary, results may vary depending on when you get the pedal, what kind of updates UAFX has already done to it, but like just registering that pedal, I got 126 different voicings. That means that per bank, you can select, for right now I'm in tape, so I can select between like all these different voicings for tape.
Let's give 2 examples maybe.
2 examples.
1 plus 1.
And here's EP with octave pitched buckets.
Whoa! Wow, okay.
There's one with a 5th pitched.
Oh gosh, you're gonna be killing me.
Go.
Thank you. Thank you, Guillaume.
So, but you got the idea. And if you select one mode like this, like I want to keep the 5th pitched tape, and I go to analog, sorry, right there, I can choose like a different mode for analog, for example, and then if I switch back to tape, it says it saved the 5th pitched thing. So you can select whatever voicing you prefer for each of the 3 modes on both delay and reverb and keep them in, like this is stored in the pedal, not in the app. So once you select one, it stays there and it works.
It's saved, and that's gonna be the sound for that mini toggle position. So it's gonna be there for good until you change it, of course.
Let me do just like a little bit more of a traditional thing.
Yeah, of course. You wanna play?
Yeah.
Of course you do.
I do.
Eddying much? Yeah, man, it's just,
It's a beautiful everything. I'm in love with that pedal. I have been for over 2 weeks. It feels good to share it. It feels good to share it with you all.
Finally able to talk about it.
But yeah, those are the 3 new pedals by UAFX. I really appreciate the new offering. I think that making pedals that are maybe a little simpler, a little bit more straightforward. Hey, you want a delay and a reverb? There you go. But with the UA quality, like not cutting corners in places where it matters, which is sound, obviously, and also price point, because I think those are going to be more affordable than the first 2. Well, I mean, the original run. The second one is different. It's preamps, it's amps, and amp sims. But that places those pedals under the competition when it comes to price points.
When we're talking about the high-end
at that
ones.
level,
Yeah.
at that level of sound quality. So honestly,
far from budget, but pedals.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, we're not
but
talking cheap by any means.
Very competitive in terms of all the others that do this great quality. And they achieved that by not going for a dual finish like the
with
two
the brush
colored
thing
brush thing. It's just one color per pedal. Then the knobs, which are not with the metal thing on top, but like normal knobs, which I think look cooler.
Sick. Yeah, they
just
look
gives
awesome.
it more of a guitar, old school vibe. I don't know, I love it. And also, if that helps them, and also the enclosure, like the cardboard, is just a bit smaller.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is, I'm in for that. If that helps to cut some, some sense and make the pedal considerably more affordable than like the first three pedals, yes, please. Really, really cool choice. Loving the pedals. Let us know in the comments below what you think about these. And if you have any questions, if something wasn't clear or you kind of missed something, some sort of an info, let us know in the comments below. We'll come back to you.
Yeah, go check out the links in the description for price points if you need any more details about these pedals, but they're awesome. Well done.
Let's sum it all up. Yes. You guys take it easy. Make sure to subscribe. Bye. Bye.